Hi guys and welcome back to Scribe Gaming. I'm your man Scribe and I hope you guys are ready for some kit reveals. We've got 2 brand new galactic chases coming to the holo tables very soon, and I thought we'd better take a look at the kits. Let's do this. Okay, we are going to start off with the Resistance tank ship that's coming. It is the Starfortress SF-17. Don't try and say the full name, guys. It's a mouthful. You'll be here for hours. Interesting about this one, we are getting Rose Tico and Resistance Trooper as pilots. 2 pilots, which means that's a good healthy amount of chunky GP that we're adding, but also we're making use out of Galactic Legend Ray's requirements that see a little less use. I'm talking about Rose Tico. She's not just crank or bait anymore, guys. Much rejoice. Okay. So, a resilient resistance tank that can take punishment and debilitate enemies. Very good. The basic is Gunners Look Alive. Final text. If it's Starfortress's turn, deal damage twice. Inflict target lock for 2 turns. If the target enemy has got 5 stacks of the Sweet Spot, recover 15% protection. Now the Sweet Spot is a new, could be buff, could be debuff, could be status. Don't know if this is a locked blue one, if this is going to be a locked debuff, but it looks like it can't be removed, so there's that. Dealing damage twice on your turn, pretty nice, I like it. Inflicting target lock, pretty nice, I like it. It's unclear to me if this 15% protection recovery only applies if it's Starfortress's turn. I don't think that's the case, but we'll have to wait and see. Special, begin drop sequence. Now this is obviously the big bombing run that we see in the start of The Last Jedi. Final text, this has got a cooldown of 3, apologies guys. Deal physical damage and dispel all buffs from the target enemy. It's not an AoE, which is really confusing to me. So it's a single target, it will dispel all buffs on them, which is great. It removes 10% turn meter per stack of the Sweet Spot, which is lovely, again, because that will help deal with Houndstooth, who's just like, you dispel it and it just like takes another turn immediately. And anyway, gains its taunt back up. It afflicts evasion down for 2 turns, which can't be resisted, which is going to be very useful against the likes of, I don't know, Executor lineups when you're trying to clear them up, because they've always got that evasion up. I don't want to say against Millennium Falcon because that doesn't really have it, but I suppose the Phantom 2 does. Okay. If the target enemy has got 5 stacks of the Sweet Spot, place 3 concussion mines on them, which can't be evaded. Now, concussion mines deal 10% of the target's max health and dazes the target for 2 turns. Cannot be dispelled. That daze that can't be dispelled is absolutely sick, to be honest, guys. An undispellable 2-turn daze is great against so much at the moment. It's great against Malevolence. It's great against Negotiator lineups. It's great against Rebels. So, love it. Undispellable. Undispellable daze is fantastic for 2 turns. Tico's Sister Legacy. Recover 50% health and gain taunt for 2 turns. So this is obviously going to be the opening move that you use for this, guys. Cooldown of 3. Call all other resistant allies to assist, dealing 50% less damage. That's nice, a little bit of extra damage. If the enemy has 5 stacks of Sweet Spot, resistance allies assist with no damage penalty. So again, there's that little bit of extra synergy with the Sweet Spot status effect. Now, as per this character's unique, the ship's unique, whenever resistance allies deal any sort of damage to a ship, they apply a stack of the Sweet Spot. So these assists are actually going to be upping those stacks anyway. And this is your taunt move, so you want to be using this as frequently as possible. Her reinforcement is apply 2 stacks of the Sweet Spot to all enemies, and resistance allies gain tenacity up for 2 turns. Personally, I'm not fussed by this reinforcement, guys. I think this ship has to be a starting lineup ship. I think it's going to go alongside Ray's Millennium Falcon and Poe, and then you're going to call in Resistance Pilot as a reinforcement. That's how I think this is going to go. Okay, so here's the unique, the Sweet Spot. At the start of battle, if all allies are resistance, Starfortress is immune to critical hits for 1 turn. That's not gains critical hit immunity, it just can't be crit on the first turn, which is great. Helps you survive that opening barrage, guys. The Starfortress gains taunt for 1 turn if an ally with Deflector Shield receives damage from an enemy. If the Starfortress loses taunt, it gains it again for 1 turn if it didn't already have it, and if another resistance ally has Deflector Shield. It's a mouthful, guys, but basically, if you've got an ally with Deflector Shield, you're going to perma-taunt. Simple as that. Simple as that. Okay? While provided you've got a full resistance lineup. At the start of battle. While Starfortress has Taunt, it has a 100% counter chance. Now that's going to synergize with its basic. Its basic, when it attacks a character that has got 5 stacks of Sweet Spot, you're going to be recovering 15% protection, giving you that extra survivability. Here's an interesting interaction though, guys. Whenever Starfortress gains Foresight, it dispels it and gains crit hit immunity for 2 turns. Now there's a couple of things to unpack about this, guys. First of all, if it had a bunch of Foresight synergy, it would probably get Holdo to hit her ultimate too quickly, and it was probably taking out things like Executor a little too reliably. So I imagine they deliberately baked in some anti-Foresight synergy into this. But on the other hand, that crit hit immunity does make it harder to kill, and as a tank that's exactly what you want. Not being able to crit it should be really good. Whenever a resistance ally deals damage to an enemy, they apply a stack of the Sweet Spot until the end of the encounter. So it's non-dispellable, guys, that Sweet Spot. The longer battle goes on, the better efficiency that this Holdo fleet is going to have. Okay? And it says here that resistance ally deals damage, not other allies. So you will be applying Sweet Spot on your basic, so if it's your turn and you basic, that will be 2 stacks of Sweet Spot. When you do those mass assists, everybody goes in, that's going to be multiple stacks of Sweet Spot. I definitely think Resistance Trooper gets to put, Resistance Pilot, apologies, goes on the bench, called it in as the first reinforcement, so it starts assisting out of turn, applying more stacks of the Sweet Spot. Overall, I think the ship is good, guys, but we're going to have to wait and see what its base stats are like, and really judge it from there. I personally am happy for this because I do have GL Ray, so I've got those requirements. I just hope I don't have to Relic 7 relegate these characters, because that is a big no-no for me. Let's go ahead and check out the First Order equivalent. Now it's the First Order TIE Echelon. Think I'm pronouncing that right, who knows. This one only has 1 pilot, which is the First Order Officer. Now he has more use, I would say, than Rose Tico, but it's still probably a little bit underutilized. So it's good that they're actually introducing a pilot. I think that they didn't go for 2, like the Starfortress, simply because overall the Finalizer fleet has an additional ship, is a better ship overall, a better lineup that can punch up. So maybe they decided we won't give it as much power. Alright, let's look at it. Basic, initiate the hunt. Now for a basic, guys, this is amazing. You deal physical damage to target enemy. If the enemy is hunted, you inflict target lock for 2 turns, which can't be resisted. Great. If you attack an enemy that is target locked, you call all First Order allies with advantage to assist, and then they gain advantage. This thing has a mass assist on its basic. Sure, you have to have advantage, but in a First Order fleet, it's very easy to maintain advantage all the time. And calling in the TIE Silencer, that's going to stun enemies with its basic, is huge. That for a basic, that's incredibly powerful, if you ask me. Okay, special one, it's got a cooldown of 4. It's called the Galaxy's Edge, and that's a little play on the fact that this particular ship features in the Galaxy Edge, could you call it theme park, experience. TIE Echelon gains 30% protection up for 2 turns, and all First Order allies gain half that amount. Call all First Order allies to assist, so just another casual mass assist, dealing 50% less damage, and they gain stealth for 2 turns. So this tank is kind of like a pseudo tank. It doesn't taunt, it just stealths its allies, which is almost as good. There are other benefits for stealth allied approach, in so much that an ally that's attacking out of stealth can't be countered. So that's good too, right? So a cooldown of 4 you might think is pretty long, but I think its reinforcement ability over here maintains the fact that you're basically always going to be taunting because your allies will always be stealthed. So its reinforcement ability, TIE Echelon gains 30% protection up for 2 turns, all other allies gain stealth for 1 turn. For the rest of the encounter, whenever another First Order ally gains stealth, whenever its stealth expires, you gain taunt for 1 turn. So, as you know guys, under Finalizer, all of the reinforcement abilities of your ships activate immediately. You can use this as a reinforcement, but it might just have the same sort of viability as a starting lineup, because this will activate immediately. You know, so you'll taunt when your allies lose stealth. Yeah, super useful. Then it has a unique Might of the First Order. At the start of each First Order ally's turn, the Echelon gains 2% defense, max health, and max protection, stacking for each stealth First Order ally. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. When we look at, Galaxy's Edge ability here, they gain stealth for 2 turns, yeah? 2 turns of stealth when you use this ability. That's going to be 2 turns. Let's say it's only 2 ships. If you had 3, even better. But that's 2 turns to, what, like 8% health and protection and defense stacking when you go round the corner like that. And it stacks infinitely. That's pretty crazy. When a First Order ally lands a critical hit, the Echelon recovers 20% health and protection. And because there's so much advantage that gets passed around in this team, you're going to be critting a lot, which means this thing has got sustain out the wazoo. If the TIE Echelon is the only ally ship not stealthed, and there is at least one other ally stealthed, it can't be critically hit. This thing is going to be a nightmare to kill, especially in long protracted battles. If this thing stays out for an extended period of time, guys, you're just not going to kill it, outside of like the Chimera's ultimate. Because it's just going to be stacking health, protection, defense, then you can't critically hit if it's got a stealthed ally. It's like, wow. I think both of these ships look really good, guys, and well worth the investment. Now, they are both coming as Galactic Chase characters. We are hours away from the Starfortress from going live. We know that one's going to Cantina. We're not sure about the Echelon just yet. I'm assuming it will be, just for parity's sake. Farm them, guys, farm them out the wazoo, particularly if you do have the characters involved. It's going to be so useful in buffing up your other fleets. Definitely think it's going to be worthwhile. Obviously, retain full judgment until we've actually seen the stats on the ships, but I'm thinking that these are really going to help shore up these fleets, give them a lot more viability than they currently have. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below, and until the next video, guys, peace out. Just giving a quick shout out to my patrons. I appreciate each and every single one of you, and without your support, I wouldn't be doing this today. Thanks so much.